Hello Taurus, Elsie here to do a reading for you, and welcome to the in-between. We are in between eclipses, friends, and we're going to ask a few questions and find out what's going on here. But first, let's get through dealing some of these oracle cards. We're going to be asking a few questions, Taurus. Let's find out what's going on for Taurus. If you are a Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Jupiter sign Taurus, something might be here for you. This is a general reading. Keep that in mind. So the first question we are asking, Taurus, is what is being activated by the first eclipse? And we have here, answers you need are coming. So the first eclipse that we just had on the 13th is saying the answers that you have been asking are about to be answered here. The bottom of the deck, which is always the future energy for me, it says, show the world the real you. We've got the full moon in Gemini here. We've got Aquarius energy over here, full moon Aquarius. So I feel like it's time for you to be who you are, Taurus, unapologetically, because that's what Aquarius would do, but also think it out. I feel like there are some answers coming in this eclipse in between for you. Answers to things that possibly you thought you'd never get the answer for. Second thing we're asking is, what are you being prepared to understand, Taurus? We have, life is a mystery, that you're not always going to know the answers. Some things need to be kept undercover to see whether you're going to follow or lead. And I feel like as long as you keep your eye on the prize, I'm just going to say the Bobcat Spirit, boring a hole through you with those eyes. Card number 8 is here, right? Life is a mystery. I feel like you're supposed to focus on you and not what's going on out there. In the future energy, we have clear out the clutter. We have the frog spirit here. Card 28 is a 10. So I feel like something here is probably coming to an end in this eclipse season for you. And you are going to be starting fresh or starting anew in showing people who the real you actually is. Because when you get these answers here, you're going to realize why something had been kept from you. The last question we're going to ask is, what needs to shift for you to have some sort of a major change occur in your life? We're using the surrender deck. We've got surrender to your desire to control people. Now, I'm not calling you controlling. I'm just saying that sometimes, especially I know as a reader, when I get people who are wanting private reads, tell me now. Tell me right now. What's the answer? Where? When? How? Who? Why? They want to control. Sometimes people come to me with diatribes of information because they're trying to control the reading. They want me to say something in their favor, and that's not how I roll, friends. It says here, being over controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. As I said, I'm not saying you are controlling. I'm saying that in this eclipse season, it feels like you are going to learn how to just back off, be silent, do your own thing, focus on you, and you will get the answers that you want to get. Surrender to your fear of change. Well, that's great. I love that it showed up in the Taurus reading. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you are afraid to change in your job, your health, or your relationship, or you fear aging or death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith and all is well. All right, let's get a deck. Let's find out what else is going on for Taurus in this in-between. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Taurus, thanks for your thumbs up, by the way. It does help the channel grow. All right. Let's find out what's going on for Taurus. We'll get these down, and then we'll talk about them. 10 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. We've got the 9 of Wands. We've got the Emperor. We've got the Hanged Man. We've got the 2 of Wands. We've got the 2 of Swords. And we have the Ace of Cups. Bottom of the deck, we have the Magician. Look, you're the one that is in control of all of it. Whatever you do, whatever you think of yourself, whatever you think of your circumstances, you are correct. Whatever you think about your circumstances, you are correct, because you are creating your own reality. So Taurus, what is being activated by the first eclipse? I feel like there is something here that you've needed answers about that you haven't gotten. or maybe you have the answer and you don't understand it, or you haven't really seen the point of the answer. The Ten of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles are here. I do feel that something ended for you, and I think it was painful, or you are possibly betrayed. This feels like something that you can't stop thinking about, because the Ten of Swords is about going over and over and over in your mind about the pain, the betrayal, the thing that hurt you, right? I feel like finally you get to let it go. You're going to get to the point, Taurus, where it shows up in your mind. You're like, no, I'm not thinking about that today. And then it's gone. And I feel like as you put more and more space between you and the thought pattern, it eventually leaves. So I feel like the answer that you get is an answer that you've been looking for on this journey. You've been looking for this answer for a really long time. And I feel like it's time, like it feels like this is the mindset of going over every corner in the room. But I thought this was that. But I thought that was this. I thought they meant this. I thought they meant that. Like, I feel like you are stuck on the details of why something happened, because possibly you didn't get any closure. Possibly you weren't able to make a decision to let this go, or to say to the person, look, you betrayed me. But honestly, do you think it would have changed the situation? If somebody's going to hurt you outright like that, do you think they really care that they're doing it? I feel like there is a realization coming, Taurus, in that you can let it go without getting the apology. Sometimes closure doesn't come, and sometimes that in itself is the lesson. Page of Pentacles is here. I do believe that you are, something new is showing up for you in the 3D. It feels like it could be a messenger. It could be a friend. It could be an invitation, a letter. It feels like there is something new, an opportunity to renew how you feel. It's like once you let this go, but I feel like you've been hanging on to it forever with the Knight of Pentacles, because it takes a very long time to complete the mission. I really do feel that at the end of the journey, you wanted to feel healed. Wow. I feel like the answers you're getting from here is that sometimes there just is no answer, and sometimes that in itself is the lesson. So I think that what you are being prepared to understand here, it says life is a mystery. And I think this kind of goes along with the rest of the reading so far. And that is, it's time for you to take charge of the way you feel, take charge of what you're doing in your life. You don't have to give your power over to someone else because they didn't decide to say sorry, because they didn't decide to give you closure. You own your empire. You are the one who's building your empire. You're the one that's in control of all of it, especially your thought patterns, right? I want to say that the Nine of Wands is telling me that I feel that you get to a place in your life where you're exhausted with carrying everything alone. It feels like exhaustion, but it also feels like I've been carrying so many wands, so many actions that were taken against you that you just decided you had to carry. And I feel like you come up with perspective here, and the perspective that is coming up in the middle of this eclipse season, the perspective that you get is, yeah, I always was in control. I always was the magician. I always was the person who had all the skills and the resources I needed to be able to create my intentions, right? My intentions create my reality. So I feel like you've always had all the tools. You've always had all the aces up your sleeve. And I feel like in this season, this eclipse season, I feel like that what you are being prepared to understand is that it was always all about you. It was never about them. A lot of people are like waiting for someone to say whether they want them or not, waiting for someone to show up in their life, waiting for the job to call back, waiting. You don't have to wait. You can make your own decisions and live your own reality. So if the job doesn't call back, you just apply for other jobs. And if the person doesn't come back, you just put on your big boy, big girl pants and you carry on with life. I feel like this is a realization that you never had to wait. You never had to wait for anything, because life is a mystery and you never know what's going to show up. So what if you're standing there waiting and that thing is already way ahead on the path? Maybe you're supposed to meet it later in your lifetime, later in years, right? It feels like the thing that is coming into a shift for you is the understanding that whatever you decide is what is going to be. You just have to decide what it is that you want, because everything will change accordingly. When you decide to take control of your life, control of your thought patterns, control of the journey, and get a perspective that, well, you were always the one in control. I think that's what allows you to drop all of these burdens you've been carrying here. Or maybe this is the exhaustion of thinking about it over and over and over again. I feel like somebody here is going to be more focused on the self. That's how you build your empire, is by focusing on you and not on anyone around you. Doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter if they're coming back or not. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. What matters is you, and that's what 8 is about. It's about the self. It's about putting the hard work in on something. It's also about self-realization. And so life is a mystery. Look, you don't get to know what's coming up, so stop waiting. So what needs to shift in order for a major change to occur? Stop controlling it. Stop controlling the time frame. Stop controlling the thought patterns. Just stop controlling it. Stop waiting. I think that some people think that if they wait, they're going to control what happens next. And the fact of the matter is that life is a mystery. You're not supposed to know. So you can listen to your intuition and make the desired changes that you want in your life. I feel like the desire to control people is not a control tactic. That's not what I believe, Taurus. I don't believe that you're feeling like, I want to, that you're this big evil mastermind, right? And that you want to control everybody and everything. I don't think that's who you are. I think that sometimes we get into this place where we control time, we control waiting, we control what we control because we don't have control. So we pick these arbitrary things that we want to control in order to stay on the path mentally, instead of being in the loop of, I don't have closure, I don't have closure, I don't have closure. When you were in control to let it go all along, you had the ability to be happy, but it was your perspective that kept you in a place that you were stuck, sitting down, looking at the map, going, well, if somebody doesn't come back, if somebody doesn't tell me it's time to move or to stop waiting, I got to sit here and look at the map and figure out where I'm going next. It always was within your control to do that, by the way. You never really had to wait for anybody. So I feel like what has to shift for a major change to occur in your life is this. You need a plan, friend. And I feel like there are decisions that you need to make on your own. And I know that some people are worried about making decisions on their own, but you can stay stuck here at the 2 of Wands. I mean, it's your life. You can do what you want, Taurus. But as long as you are going to try and control everything, I feel as though you won't give yourself the freedom to let go of being at the 2 of Wands, which is where you're stuck with your plan. I think that you have a decent plan because the Knight of Pentacles is here, and that's Virgo energy, and Virgo has got all the details. I feel like you have a decent plan, but I also feel like you're in freeze mode here, right? It feels like this 2 of Swords tells me that you are trying to make a decision. Do I stay or do I go? Do I wait or do I not? It feels like somebody here is trying to out-chess the universe, and that's not what happens. So I'm going to say in this eclipse season, it does feel like there is something, like this eclipse season for you, Taurus, is going to be getting answers. Getting the answers that you need to realize you've always been in charge of your thought patterns and your mindset, something that you can let go because you get a perspective. And I feel like you're able to sacrifice waiting for someone new, something new, a message, waiting for an opportunity. You get to let go of that because you realize that you've always been in control. You're the one that's always been in control of your growth. I love that, right? Because we're talking about 8, and I was talking about 8, and that was what I had in my mind in the time I was talking about it. So you've always had control over your growth. You never had to stay stalled. I feel like at the end of finally breaking this pattern of waiting with your plan, hoping that somebody shows up to tell you it's okay to execute your plan, getting out of this stuck energy is going to make you happier than you've ever been. I feel like what you don't realize is that you're holding back your joy. You're holding back something new that's going to make you completely happy. It's going to open your heart chakra. I feel like you don't realize that there is a pearl in the oyster. I feel like it's a complete and total surprise, but you've got to get through this first, right? Yeah, you've got to get through that. We're going to clarify a little bit here. Let's find out what's going on for Taurus. The answers are coming. I feel like the Page of Pentacles could be the answer, right? That shows up. It could be the opportunity to understand something from a different perspective or a different point of view. And I feel like the point of view or the perspective you come up with is a realization, is what it feels like here. It might be an emotional realization. It might be a realization within you, like your intuition, because the Hanged Man is Piscean energy. Could be something that you realize at the end of the year. Tell me about the Page of Pentacles. What is this? We've got the 5 of Swords. I think this is the answer that's coming. And it doesn't have to be coming from someone else. It could be coming from, the inside to the outside. Because this here, the 2 of Pentacles is a decision you make in the 3D, right? So here we got A decision trying to be made in the mind, but we're stuck. A decision tried to be made to get this plan executed, but we're stuck. And I feel like the answer is probably here. Tell me about the Five of Swords. We've got the King of Pentacles. You learn how to maneuver the obstacles, Taurus. I feel like you are becoming stronger. I feel like you realize that you're always going to have obstacles. The obstacles are never going to stop. So if you're hoping life is going to get easier, I'm just here to tell you, here to pop your bubble and say life doesn't get much easier. You just get stronger. You get more strategic. You start realizing, well, yeah, that is an obstacle and that sucks, but I know the way around the obstacle, because water will go around the rock. It won't just sit there in front of the rock and say, move, I want to pass. So I feel like the King of Pentacles here is telling me that it's the Five of Swords tells me that you have a hard time changing your mind. And I think that you battle yourself mentally here about having to change course or having to go around something to see what's on the other side. I feel like you know that there's an obstacle there, but I feel like you're going to get an opportunity to change course, to change path. This might be a career path. This could be a path to something that you're trying to build. It feels like something in the 3D, time, effort, energy, money. It could be health. It feels like you're going to have to change course, but you're fighting yourself. No, I wanted to go this way. This is the place I wanted to get the answer. Well, I feel like coming into your King of Pentacles energy is likely going to show the world the real you. When you learn to navigate around things that are in the way, you don't just crash the boat into the rock, right? You go around. There we go. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, you change your mind. You change your position. You change your course. So I feel like what's being activated in this first eclipse here for you is change. It does feel like, when you feel stuck, the wheel isn't moving. The wheel says, yes, you can have whatever's fortunate and in the future, but you must change. You must expand. You have to change your course. You have to change your mind. You got to keep moving. And so I feel like you stop fighting opportunity because you're stuck back here. I think you stop fighting. The answer comes that I never did have to sit and wait for somebody on the trail, because I have the map and I know where to go. And I feel like the Wheel of Fortune tells me that you realize that changing course is necessary in order for you to have all the things that you want in this life. We've got emotions are running high. I don't think it's going to be easy for you. I don't think this is going to be an easy change. I think you're going to fight it tooth and nail. But I think that you come to the realization in the in-between here that that's probably the best and easiest thing for you to do. Let's talk about the Hanged Man here. The Hanged Man is your perspective, and I feel we should probably look at what your perspective is. We've got the Tower, got to move. We got the Knight of Cups, and we've got the Six of Swords. I feel like you're detaching from this space in your mind where you are looking at things with potential. That's usually why people wait, because they see the potential in the situation when possibly there was no potential there at all. I feel like the Tower shows up, Taurus, to show you it's time for you to see something from a different perspective. It feels like a very real shift, right? It feels like a very real shift in the mind about how you perceive things, that it's okay to be strategic emotionally. It's okay to be strategic about your dreams, right? We've got a dreamy energy with the Knight of Cups. It's okay to be strategic about who you date and who you don't date. I feel like the Six of Swords is telling me you're finally detaching from this energy of looking at this thing with potential, because sometimes the thing doesn't have potential. And also sometimes if we're talking about a person, it feels like you take charge of how you feel about things. And I feel that's what brings in the Tower. You're ready for the shift. So the Tower shows up and says, you're right, that was an illusion. And now that you get it, now we can move forward. We can detach and move on. And you can release this thing. You got your perspective, you've always been in control, and now it's time to move forward. Tell me what Taurus has to do to get rid of this Two of Swords. I think that when you try and control whatever it is, maybe not people, but situations, that's where you get stuck, because not everyone's going to comply, and you will stay there and wait for it to comply, and sometimes it never will. Tell me about this Two of Swords. What do we do to get out of the Two of Swords? We've got the Hierophant energy. We've got the King of Cups. And we've got the World card. It feels like you have to stop standing around waiting for someone to comply with whatever it is that you want. You have to be more fluid than that. The King of Cups is here. And although the King of Cups is keeping it under the surface, the King of Cups is very stoic. I'm not going to show you how tumultuous, how these waves are crashing on the rocks. I'm not going to show you that. I'm just going to keep my balance in the storm. And then I'm going to quietly bring something to an end. So Taurus, I feel like you do in this eclipse season. I feel like what shifts for you and makes a major change is your perspective on something that you've been waiting for it to change. So you didn't have to. I feel like you realize that you can just release it, let go of it, and change course. Go around the obstacle instead of standing there staring it in the face, waiting for it to change. The Hierophant is here. And I feel like you go from being very stubborn and solid, and this is also for me thinking a little bit outside the box, which is this Aquarian energy here. This Hierophant energy, I feel like becomes softer or more fluid, or you realize that this just has to end. I can't just stay here forever. It's blocking my progress, because the Wheel of Fortune is asking you to change, and without change, there is no progress. So I feel like the world is saying here, come on, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap up this cycle here. Be a little bit more fluid with how you make decisions. It's okay that you are feeling the water crashing against the rocks underneath the surface, but just keep your balance. Keep your balance emotionally, and decide your own path, and instead of waiting for somebody to show up. I feel like it is going to make you sad that you don't get what you want, but this is life. We don't always get what we want, Taurus, right? Sometimes we're after the wrong thing, and we can stay there. Absolutely, we can stay there. But, life is passing us by in the meantime. I'm going to put down 3 cards here. This is the cards that we are going to use going into the extended, Taurus. We have the Owls. We have the Whip and the Broom. And then we have card number 15 is the Bear. We are talking about, Taurus, I feel that you come to some type of realization that you've been waiting for too long. You come to a truth and decide it's time for change. Owls are about death. They're about transformation. And I think you're having an internal transformation. Card number 12 is intuitive energy. That is Piscean energy, right? Something here changes really quick within you. And I feel that you decide that it's time to carry on the path. It's time for me to be my own leader. And we're going to talk more about that, because there was something eating at you that I think was holding you back, Taurus. Look, we're going to go into the extended. We're going to talk about this, and this. We're going to clarify the rest of these if you're interested in coming into the extended. We are going to see where things go from here, and where is this energy taking you next, and what unfolds as a result of it. If you're interested in coming into the extension, please check out the pinned comment that is at the top of all the comments right under the video. There's a membership link there. Please click that membership if you want to see me in the extended. If you want to book a private reading, private readings are open. They are pre-recorded. They are live as well. Live ones are on sale at this time if you'd like to do that. I'm going to go for now into the extended. Thank you so much for being here and clicking. I do appreciate you. I'm going to go, but I'll be back because I'm always back. And if you're here, we'll do this all over again. Thanks, Taurus. Bye-bye.